This is Turkey, a physical bridge between Europe and the Middle East. It's a land with a brutal past. Even the red of the flag is representative of blood spilt in battle. In terms of World Rally, it's a relative newbie, but it's already made quite an impression. Buckle up for the battle that will be World Rally Turkey, exclusively here on Dave. This is the 6th gravel rally in a row, and road sweeping is becoming a big talking point. We'll explain exactly what that means, and we'll take a closer look at why this will play a vital role here in Turkey, and potentially for the rest of the championship. Plus, pushing the speed limit and the pain barrier. This is a pure gravel rally. And we'll be keeping an eye on the thermometer as temperatures rise to boiling point here in Turkey. Now, you may have experienced that heat when you've come to Turkey on your holidays, but it is the mountainous interior of this massive, diverse country that is our focus for this weekend. Away from the sun-worshipping hordes and up here among the Sunni goat herds, the rock-strewn gravelly roads are all set for our season midpoint, round 8 of the 2008 World Rally Championship. Winning the last time out in Greece makes it 5 victories out of 7 this year for reigning champion Sebastian Loeb. In fact, every time he's finished, he's won. But he's still only 1 point ahead of Ford's Mikko Hirvonen. Mikko's opted for the points-made prizes approach with only 1 win, but scoring points on every event. Subaru's fortunes could be on the turn after a 2nd place for Petter Solberg with the all-new Impreza hatchback in Greece. And Jari-Matti Latvala has impressed everyone this season with his speed, and a decent starting position here should see him fighting at the sharp end right from the outset. Latvala is 4th, catching Chris Atkinson in 3rd on the championship leaderboard, but it's Loeb who leads, albeit by the slimmest of margins. Okay, it's a cliche, but Turkey is where the East meets the West. The city of Istanbul marks the point where Europe ends and Asia begins. The rally's base is well into the Asian sector on the south coast. Given 5 words each, what do the people in the know expect from this rally?
Technical, tricky, wide, soft,
Hot, very rocky,
narrow,
loose,
Dusty, twisty, rocky and soft.
The "and" counts as a word.
Well, it's kind of a dusty, twisty, rocky and soft. That's 5.
I'd call it a medium speed rally. Not super rough, but there's quite a few rocks around as well.
Because you cannot see so much on this rally, so we have to trust the co-driver 100%.
It's not so hard. It's very soft and there's lots of big rocks just beneath the surface which will pull out for second pass. So it's not really rough like Greece, but there's going to be lots of rocks and going to be bad for the cars.
I think it will be difficult not to have any puncture and not to hit any stones, so I hope it suits better to my style. We'll see that.
Well, it's early Friday morning and Sebastian Loeb is about to drive off to attack the first proper stage of the Rally of Turkey. He already has the slimmest of leads, having won last night's super special stage. So today is the longest the drivers have to tackle. 152 kilometres of twisty gravel roads split into 8 stages. like all the others, it's tricky and slippery. But it's also technical, and as Henning said, pace notes are crucial. Plus, keep an eye out, huge drops beside the road. Here's Paul King, who's been watching the action on stage 2.
It's the last rally before the summer break and an opportunity for someone to take a crucial psychological advantage in the championship race. Loeb blasts off into the 22-kilometre stage 2. It's very hot and very dry out there this morning, and these stages have been recently regraded, so there's a lot of loose gravel on the surface, which is causing him to slide all over the place as he sweeps the racing line of that loose gravel. Heaven's really struggled already this year with running first on the road, but some of that has been a mental issue as much as the physical disadvantage of sweeping away the loose gravel. And looking at his stage time here, that psychological edge of being second on the road is working. He's 11.1 seconds faster than Loeb.
Mikko second on the road this morning, time just going up considerably faster than Seb. You never did like running first on the road, that's much better.
Yeah, it's definitely better. We'll see if it's enough, but that's a good start. Definitely a good start.
Chris Atkinson next in the new shape Subaru Impreza. His teammate Petter Solberg made a good start in Greece in the new car, but Chris is third in the championship after some great podium finishes early in the year. But it's not the best of starts here. Chris is off the pace in the second half of stage 2. Jari-Matti Latvala has been one of the quickest around, but Lady Luck has not always been on his side in the last few rallies. And there's an early delay for Jari-Matti in Turkey. He's whacked a rock and punctured a tyre. He's almost half a minute down, and it's a disappointing start for Latvala. With cleaner racing lines, being 7th on the road is proving to be advantageous for Gigi Gali. The Stobart star is another driver who's had a disappointing string of results on recent events, particularly after his fine podium finish in Sweden. Gigi's on form though, and is second fastest on the stage. Citroën privateer Ermo Arva, meanwhile, is fresh from the best ever result of his career in Greece. He's 11th on the road here and is absolutely flying. Let's have a look how much of an advantage that road position is. As we know, Loeb is running first on the road in the same car. That's a whopping 13.4 seconds quicker on the stage. And Ermo is clearly delighted.
Yes! Road position very important.
Yes, it's very, very good.
So an unusual looking leaderboard after stage 2 then. Young Norwegian privateer Andreas Mikkelsen also made an eye-catching start. He's now second overall, but Loeb is way down in 7th.
So the Rally of Turkey is officially and dustily underway. Join us after the break for all the rest of the action. Plus, we'll get to the bottom of this road sweeping malarkey. See you in a minute on Dave. Welcome back to World Rally Turkey on Dave. Now, if you're wondering why, after 2 stages, the likes of Mikkelsen are in the top 3 and Sebastian Loeb, world champion, is down in 7th, well, that's got something to do with road sweeping. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Already this season, road sweeping has put the cat amongst the pigeons. We saw Ford pull team orders to avoid being first on the road in Jordan. And in Sardinia, being further back on the road gave Jari-Matti Latvala such an advantage, he even made the quadruple world champion Loeb sweat for a bit. Who better to explain what it's all about than the guys that have to deal with it every day?
When you are first car on the road, you have absolutely no lines, nothing. So it's very slippery on every braking and every corner, on every traction at the exit of the corner. You have wheel spin, wheel locking, and so it's impossible to go as fast as the others are coming on the hard after.
Here, the gravel's really thick on top of the base of the road, and obviously the more cars that go over it, they clear that gravel away. And then you end up with a clean line and you're down onto the hard base. You know, if you can get down to that surface, that base surface, and get the grip, then there's a lot of time to be had.
Every little bit you slide, every bit of wheel spin is lost seconds, and it might be a tenth here, a tenth there, but you add it over 30k and it can be 30 seconds. So You got to be aggressive when you're first on the road or in the top sort of 4 or 5 cars to make sure you don't lose too much time. And then when you're further down the order, you end up being actually neater and staying on the line. So you almost change your driving style between road positions.
And because Sebastian Loeb is championship leader, he is first on the road all day today. We thought we'd give you this for the weekend.
Yeah, if you want, but maybe you can take it and go in the stages night and clean a bit for me. It would be nice for me.
Okay, maybe we will.
Well, I'm not sure if Neil made it out onto the stages to help Loeb out, but let's have a look how much road sweeping is going to affect things in stages 3 and 4. It's just after 9 AM and already it's 33 degrees.
So first on the road is Sebastian Loeb. Lots of loose gravel on the surface.
This running first on the road is obviously still proving slippery business for Loeb. Out of the top 3 stage times on both stages 3 and 4. He's back in 5th.
Now, as you can see, he has made one clear line, but next through will be Mikko Hirvonen.
As Neil says, next on the road is Ford's number 1, Mikko Hirvonen.
So, as you can see, Mikko Hirvonen was considerably wider, which is why he showered us with stones and gravel. So let's see where his line is. Considerable, look at that, look at this line. Loeb was over here, tucking in right into this line. This is Mikko Hirvonen's line. You can just see where he split the gravel to one side of his tyres.
Mikko's line on this stage is different from Loeb's, which means he's still sweeping loose gravel away. That, combined with huge amounts of dust in the car, means he takes just 0.2 out of Loeb over these 2 stages. Running 4th on the road, and after his puncture in stage 2, we should see a big fight back from Jari-Matti Latvala. His response to the earlier delay is immediate and impressive. Quickest on stage 3 and then second fastest on 4. Latvala storms up from 14th to 2nd in just 2 stages. Gigi Gali is the 7th car on the road.
And so by the time you're the 7th car on the road, as you can see, all of the surface gravel has been swept away. Very nice, clean racing line. Lots more grip.
And Gigi is taking full advantage of that cleaner line. He claims his first fastest time of the weekend and moves up to 3rd overall. Another of the drivers further back who's taking advantage of a favourable road position is Henning Solberg. Well, he's being chased by dogs as well as cars this morning, and the Norwegian is up to 4th after stage 4. Ermo Arva, meanwhile, is pushing hard to build on his awesome performance on that first stage of the morning. Oh, but look at that. That was the spring off one of his dampers flying ahead. A dramatic moment, and I'm afraid the Estonian's going nowhere, taking another look as the force of that impact rips out the spring, sending it bouncing down the road ahead. A disappointing finish to his day, but Ermo is certainly becoming one to watch this season. So all change on the leaderboard. Mikko Hirvonen is still in the lead, but by just 6.9 seconds from his charging teammate. Gali in 3rd, with Loeb back in 5th. Stages 5, 6 and 7 are repeats of this morning's loop. Road position will still affect the drivers, but maybe not as much as this morning. After his fantastic result in Greece, it's not been a great start for Petter Solberg and the new Impreza. The Norwegian says he's being cautious and still testing the limits and restrictions of his new car. Teammate Chris Atkinson has struggled too, mysteriously. The car is performing for the first half of the stages, but then losing time towards the end. And it's more bad news for the Australian when he's forced to retire for the day at the end of stage 6 with suspension damage. Sebastian Loeb is still road sweeping some loose gravel, but it's not half as bad as it was this morning. You can clearly see a cleaner line where the Frenchman can get more grip, and he's on a fight back. He wins his first real stage of the rally. And on the leaderboard, Seb is helped slightly by his teammates' misfortunes. Dani Sordo has been on a fine run so far. But he's gone off there, and that impact has damaged his suspension. He loses even more time getting back in the right direction, and Dani slips down to 8th. Gigi Gali is still setting impressive times this afternoon. But let's compare his speed to Loeb's. He needs to beat that target time to stay ahead of the world champion. He's not going to do it. Sideways over the line and a smashed window for good measure, but it's not quite good enough. He slips behind Sebastian and into 4th. Jari-Matti Latvala set a stunning time on the first run through Miro this morning, and again this afternoon he's very quick. An amazing time, over 10 seconds quicker than anyone else, sees him surge into the lead. However, his efforts are undone on stage 7. His all-action sideways style has begun to have a detrimental effect, with 2 tyres completely delaminated by the end of the test and a puncture on another wheel. He slips back behind his teammate again. And out front, and staying away from all the trouble, is Mikko Hirvonen. The Finn will be keen to overhaul the 1-point deficit in the championship race, and the early signs have been good in Turkey. He maintains his advantage out front. All change once again then on the leaderboard. Mikko Hirvonen has lost and regained the lead. His teammate now 9.3 seconds behind. Loeb is up to 3rd, but with Gali just 1.6 seconds back. And with all the movement in the top 5, Henning drops back to 5th.
Well, the gravel is certainly taking its toll on the cars, particularly Dani Sordo's, who's got suspension damage, which the crew are trying to repair. Now, it is very, very hot. It's so hot that out on the road sections, the tarmac is melting up to 35, 37 degrees. So there's no siesta for the Citroën mechanics. They've got to work very hard in this heat to get this car fixed up and back out for stage 8.
Back to the final 2 stages of the day, which are totally new territory and are not repeated until the next day. So Sebastian Loeb is back to road sweeping duties as the first car on the road. It could be a frustrating finish for Loeb this afternoon.
Pour attention droite, 132 secondes mi-longue sur frein au pied pour 40 mètres, droite 10 épingles.
Gigi Gali, meanwhile, has been one of the stars of the day. It's been a very fluid top 6, and although Gali has just slipped behind Loeb on the leaderboard, another fastest time for the Italian on stage 8 ensures he moves back ahead of the world champion and into 3rd. But there is a final twist to today's road sweeping story. With no drivers wanting to finish in the lead and therefore have the disadvantage of running first on the road tomorrow, Hirvonen, who's been the leader all day, backs right off and ensures he drops behind Loeb. The Finn slows almost to a crawl as he approaches the flying finish of stage 9. And while Jari-Matti Latvala has also been tussling at the top all day, he too eases off in the final stage. Jari-Matti actually parks up for a few seconds to ensure he finishes the day where he wants. 14 seconds slower than Loeb, and he too drops behind the Frenchman. It's all about team tactics then as the day draws to a close, and it seems even the Stobart Ford drivers are in on the act. Henning Solberg was in 5th coming into the final stage. The target time you see would put him into the lead, but he could end up anywhere from 1st to 3rd here. He stays behind Loeb by the smallest of margins, and you've got to hand it to Ford. They've got their tactics spot on there, because Loeb is now back where he started. The world champion will begin day 3 in the lead and therefore first on the road, while Latvala and Hirvonen will be more than happy with their 3rd and 5th positions respectively. Through virtual spectator technology, we can show you that last stage as if they'd all started at the same time. Coming towards the end of the stage, both Fords are still close behind Loeb. Latvala decides to stop his car, and in doing so ensures Loeb goes ahead of him, while Hirvonen reduces his speed dramatically, as much as half that of Loeb's. So it's Sebastian who finishes the day as rally leader in a somewhat unusual fashion.
Now, in the end of the last stage today, you were happily leading, and then all of a sudden you slowed right down. Explain what happened there.
Well, I thought if you think about how much I've been losing time and now I've been first car on the road, I was only 14 seconds ahead of Sebastian, and if I'd been cleaning the road tomorrow, I don't think I would have could have kept him behind. And then that would leave him the chance to play tactics for Sunday, so we decided that we slow down. But of course, there's always a risk. We haven't won anything yet, and there's only 2 stages he's cleaning tomorrow, so we need to go flat out tomorrow, and hopefully it goes well.
So at the end of the day, explain, it must be a little bit annoying what the Ford boys have done.
Yes, but what can we do? It's on their place. I would maybe do the same. The regulation is like this, and so maybe they know then on the technical side they are not on the same level than us, so they have to play tactic to try to win.
Okay, but tomorrow it means that after all your hard work today, it's back to square one. You're rally leader, you're sweeping the road again.
Yeah, I'm used to that now.
So, Sebastian Loeb has spent all day sweeping the road, which isn't customary for a world champion, and because of tactics, he's got to do it all again tomorrow. It's tough at the top, I should know. See you after the break for the rest of Rally Turkey, exclusively on Dave. Welcome back to World Rally Turkey on Dave. Now, it's Saturday morning, and in a few minutes' time, these peaceful rural mountain villages will become a little bit more noisy as the 500,000-pound World Rally cars come through on their way to the stages. Here's what they've got in store. Today consists of 7 tests, and it's probably the fastest of the weekend. 138 kilometres of slippery, loose gravel stages. The first one is a repeat from yesterday, so road sweeping won't be so much of an issue in the morning. Watch out for some stunning scenery and some great 2-wheel action. A spin around the super special stage rounds off the day, bringing World Rally to the locals. In fact, to their doorstep this morning in the Antalya Mountains. Over to Paul King to bring us up to speed.
So after yesterday's road sweeping shenanigans, Loeb was the overnight leader and is therefore first on the road again today. But look, only 6.9 seconds split the top 5. 35 degrees here this morning and it's only 9:30. It's going to be a hot day. So Sebastian Loeb limbers up to start the 17-kilometre Chimera stage. This stage was at least run yesterday, so the Frenchman will have a clear line to use through this one. And as we saw yesterday, it's a fast-flowing stage and a spectacular way to get Saturday underway. And what an intriguing day ahead it is. Loeb is flat out and pushing hard. Henning Solberg played the perfect backup role for Ford yesterday, but it's a cautious start to the morning for the Norwegian. He drops back to 5th. Second time through an already swept stage means road position doesn't have so much of a benefit for later drivers. Even so, Jani-Matti Latvala still manages to close in on Loeb. At the end of stage 10, he's just 0.1 of a second behind the world champion. Mikko Hirvonen is the man to watch this morning. He's fifth on the road. It may not give him a huge advantage in this stage, but later he should benefit. Let's see how much of an inroad he can make into Loeb's time on an already swept stage. Well, he's taken 3.9 seconds out of him there.
You're the person who's made the biggest gain on Sebastian. 3.9 out of him, now 2.9 behind.
It's something, but he did very well. So it's going to be tight. We'll see how it goes now. We haven't driven the next stage yesterday, so maybe it's not so clean, but we'll see.
Are you surprised at his time?
Well, we're talking about Sebastian.
It's all still very cat and mouse out there. Loeb stays in the lead, but by the smallest of margins from Latvala. Next up is the Sillon stage, and at a shade over 27 kilometres, it's the longest of the day. This is the first time this stage has been run, so once again, as you can see, Loeb will have the familiar disadvantage of scrabbling for grip on the loose gravel as the first car on the road. And clearly, straight away, you can see how slippery Seb is finding it out there. The fast-flowing sections of this rally are suiting Ford's flying fins. Latvala in particular has a very flamboyant style, literally flying into the corners here. And helped by being third on the road, he's on course to make up a lot of time on Loeb. Only a tenth of a second behind Seb before this stage, he will move ahead of the world champion here. Gigi Gali is equally spectacular to watch and looking just as quick as Latvala. The Italian has suffered some miserable luck recently, but finally it seems the Stobart Ford driver is having a clear run and able to show his ability. Gigi is even faster than Latvala, and he too will pass Loeb in this stage. It's all going according to plan for Ford then, but not so good at Citroën. Danny Sordo has picked up a slow puncture midway through this stage, and over 45 seconds have been lost. He remains in 7th. And look out for the flat on his left rear tyre as he passes our camera here. Even quicker than his fellow Ford drivers, meanwhile, is Mikko Hirvonen. His teammate Latvala is the provisional rally leader at this point, but if Hirvonen can beat that target time, he'll move back into the lead that he held for much of Friday, and it's looking good. Yes, just as Mikko planned, he storms back into the lead, and he's now 2.9 seconds quicker than his teammate. So once again, there are Ford Focuses occupying all the podium places. The road-sweeping Loeb has fallen to 4th. He's now 13.7 seconds behind the new leader Hirvonen. Brit Matthew Wilson is in 8th.
Despite having a streaming cold, Matthew Wilson has been quietly and consistently going about his business. The Brit had suspension problems on Friday, but he has maintained a point-scoring position all rally. Also on the home front this rally, Scotsman Barry Clark is driving for the Munchies team. He won the Fiesta Sporting Trophy International Series last year, and his prize was a drive in a full-spec WRC car here in Turkey. He's in 11th after stage 11. Barry, hot work in there.
Yeah, it certainly is warm in here. Loving it though, absolutely having a ball, loving it.
Are you still in learning mode, or are you managing to put your foot down a bit?
Yeah, we can put the foot down in places where I'm comfortable and happy, but you know, it's certainly definitely learning mode and playing it safe and avoiding any big rocks and staying out of danger.
Now, as a Scot, how are you coping with this heat?
It doesn't get this warm in Aberdeen, I can tell you.
So, we're halfway through Saturday, and I can tell you it's hot. It's about 37 degrees right now, which is about 100 in old money. It's so hot that on the road sections up and down the mountains, this tarmac is melting. Now we have the luxury of driving up and down the mountains in an air-conditioned car, and then we just stand at the side of the stage and get dusty. The drivers have to battle their way through the stages without air conditioning, and it's pretty hot work.
And out there the temperature is still blistering, 37 degrees as they take on stages 12 and 13. Gigi Gali has put in one of his best drives of the year so far in Turkey. He's currently in third and helping the four drivers keep Loeb off the podium. But there could be a problem here for Gigi. He's suddenly well down on power. It's probably related to the turbo, but whatever the reason, it's going to cost him a lot of time, and Gali is not a happy man. Bizarrely, the Italian suffered similar turbo boost problems in the Kima stage in 2005 when leading the rally. It's a cruel twist of fate, and over the course of these two stages, he loses almost 4.5 minutes and plummets down to 8th. Gali's nightmare promotes a few drivers up the leaderboard. Peter Solberg has been biding his time as he continues the development of the new Impreza. With his brother Henning off the pace today, Petra is beginning to close on his older sibling. The Subaru man is up to 5th. As in Greece, Jari-Matti Latvala's driving style is again beginning to cause excessive tyre wear, especially on the long stages. Even so, he manages the second fastest time on stage 13 and keeps his teammate, the rally leader, within his sights.
Jari massively faster than Sebastian there, but yeah, straight out the car, you've wandered around it. That front left doesn't look very good.
It doesn't look. The front tires are not completely finished, so maybe my driving style is a bit hard, but at least we gain some time, so that's the main thing.
Mikko Hirvonen is continuing to use his lower road order to good effect. It's all about securing enough of an advantage over Loeb so he can afford to be first on the road on the final day tomorrow. Let's ride with Mikko and watch as he takes advantage of the clean lines. The Finn is still faster than his teammate, and crucially, he pulls another 11 seconds away from Sebastian over these two stages. Loeb has made up the position following Gali's problems, but he's continued to fall behind the Works Fords. He's now almost 23 seconds behind Latvala and over half a minute behind the leader.
After what happened in the final stages yesterday, with Ford dropping time for favourable road positions today, are we going to be in for the same tactics again?
I'm still going to go flat out. Whatever it is, I'm not completely comfortable with it yet, so we still need to go as fast as we can, and then we'll see what's the situation.
So you're not going to pull tactics in the last two stages?
We'll look and see what happens on the next stage, but at the moment the gap is actually it's 32 or 33 seconds. So we're on schedule basically as to where we want to be, what we feel we need to have in hand by for tomorrow. But of course anything can happen on the next one, so, and we'll make a decision after that. But at the moment it's looking very good.
So, as the mechanics cool down after another hectic service, it's a flat-out approach to the day's final three stages. Back to Paul King.
Thanks, Neil. We have two more long stages to come this afternoon before we head back to Antalya for another run through the Super Special. And after his frustrating turbo failure, Gigi Gali is still struggling. The car has been repaired in service, but for some reason, something's still affecting his pace, and he looks exhausted at the end of the stage.
Really, I really don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say.
Danny Sordo has shown real determination to make up some ground after his broken suspension yesterday. He surges past Petter Solberg and into 5th, and now has his sights set on Henning. These final two stages have been run before, so Sebastian can now attack to the finish without sliding all over the road on unswept loose gravel. The world champion loses a little time to the Fords on stage 14, but is on a fight back in 15.
Ferme 103 sur droite à fond.
I've done everything I could since the start of the rally. No mistake, no problem with the car, flat out. I think this stage was not so bad. It was a good grip. I immediately feel on the start. I told to Daniel, not bad this one compared to some of the other, and so I think the time should be okay.
Jari-Matti Latvala is finding the conditions very slippery and loses time to both his teammate and Loeb. The Ford team's tactics have worked perfectly though. They can only hope now that Mikko Hirvonen's done enough to stay ahead on the final day. He's charging to the finish of the day's last long stage to take as much time as he can out of Loeb. And they're dead level on that stage, so no advantage for Mikko there, but it's been an awesome day's driving from the Finn. There were no changes in position in the Super Special that ended the day. Loeb won the stage to shave another couple of seconds out of the Ford driver's advantage, but he still has over half a minute to make up on the final day. It's all set for a fascinating finish.
Gigi Gali's mysterious problems this afternoon are down to the hot and dusty conditions. Back at service, the Italian is unwell. He's given medical attention for dehydration and exhaustion. This heat is really taking its toll, and his rally is over. Would you say that tomorrow has the potential to be one of the classic rally battles in history?
It could be, yeah, it could be. I mean, Jari-Matti is there as well, he's not far behind, so for sure it's going to be difficult to keep him behind as well, and 34 seconds to Sebastian, it's going to be close.
Well, you heard it straight from the horse's mouth. Don't go anywhere. The final day's action from the Rally of Turkey after the break on Dave. Welcome back to World Rally on Dave. It's Sunday morning, the final day of the Rally of Turkey. Down there, preparations are being made to bring the fight up into the mountains. Ford's tactics have made Sebastian Loeb sweat for 2 days, putting him 34 seconds behind Mikko Hirvonen, which should be a comfortable enough lead, except Mikko is now sweeping the road and Loeb wants payback. The stage is set for a dramatic conclusion. Today is basically one huge stage repeated twice. Oh, with the little 5k Camuva in between. The huge stage, Olympos, is the longest of the rally at 31 k's and is pretty much a mix of everything we've already seen. Fast in the middle, twisty either end, some fearsome drops at the side of the road and, as we've seen all weekend, slippery, slippery gravel.
A crucial day ahead then, and it's the epic Olympus stage that gets us underway. Mikko Hirvonen, for the first time this weekend, is the first car on the road. Oh, but a stall off the start line there for Mikko. It's not the start he needed. Remember, he has an advantage of just over 34 seconds, so the Finn will be hopeful of hanging on to the lead, even though he's sweeping the loose gravel away on this long stage. With Jari-Matti Latvala backing him up behind, Mikko could make a 4-point jump on Loeb in the title race. This would also mark Ford's 100th consecutive rally in which they've scored manufacturer points. So the Blue Oval's Finns are playing for high stakes today. Can Loeb make up half a minute on the final day? It seems a daunting task, but if anyone can do it, it's the 4-time world champion Sebastian Loeb. As expected, the early split times are showing that Hirvonen is struggling as the first car on the road. Now is the time for Loeb to take advantage. And it's not just Loeb who may concern Ford's number one. His teammate Latvala began the final morning just 16 seconds behind. Let's see how their pace compares on this opening stage. He's 8.7 seconds quicker than Hirvonen, and Mikko's advantage is halved.
What are you looking for now? You're just over 8 seconds quicker than him in there, but Sebastian's still coming in now, not so far away from the lead.
Yeah, that's right. It's an interesting situation, but of course I want to win. That's why we are here, and that's the competition all about.
Loeb also makes up time on the rally leader, but only by just under 8 seconds. At the current rate, that will not be enough for Sebastian to catch Hirvonen. Latvala is now just 7.5 seconds behind the leader, with Loeb still over 26 seconds away from Hirvonen. Whilst the battle for the win still continues, let's catch up with Neil now for news on the drivers further down the leaderboard.
After barely being able to breathe all weekend, Matthew Wilson's cold cleared up today, and the young Brit continued his good performance of the weekend. 7th would be a nice result for Matthew. Petter Solberg had spent this weekend testing different setups on his new Impreza, but his run has been problem-free, and the team are pleased with the progress. Petter's on course to finish 6th. One position behind his big brother Henning, who started the day in 4th, but a charging Dani Sordo has made short work of the Norwegian. He surged past Henning on the first run through Olympos, and that could be another vital point for Citroën in the Manufacturers' Championship.
It all comes down to the last stage.
This is it then. A test of nerve for Mikko Hirvonen. Can he keep it together under pressure with one last push to victory?
Although Loeb won stage 18, he only made up a second on Hirvonen. Overall, Loeb is 25.5 seconds behind. Hirvonen needs to keep his cool whilst pushing as hard as he can. Loeb, after all, isn't a 4-time world champion for nothing. But remember, it's still a 3-way fight, and Jari-Matti Latvala is next into the stage. And he's pushing all the way to the finish. He was just 12.7 seconds behind his teammate before this stage. Can he do enough to snatch the win? No, he finishes the rally 7.9 seconds behind his teammate, but a terrific drive from the 23-year-old. Back in the stage, though, Loeb is really giving it everything to make a last-ditch push for glory. Just over halfway through the stage, he's 7.6 seconds up on Latvala, so he's on course to pass Jari-Matti, and he could yet snatch the win from Hirvonen. He's 11.3 up on Mikko too. So a tense time at Ford. There's nothing they can do now other than wait for Loeb's time. This is it then. Loeb is surging towards the finish line. He's not looking like he's completely on the limit, though. No, he's clearly backed off. He couldn't do it. Well, maybe like the Fords, his tyres were ruined by the end of that stage, but what a nail-biting finish to a relentless weekend. And the Ford boys are jubilant.
Mikko, that's it, it's won.
Fantastic meeting. And as a team effort, absolutely brilliant. Now we are back in the championship lead, so couldn't be any better.
So a great team job for Ford. Mikko Hirvonen takes his 2nd win of the year, supported perfectly by Jari-Matti Latvala. In the end, Loeb was 17.8 seconds behind with his teammate Sordo in 4th, a solid 5th for Henning.
One of our problems is, Mikko, is that we've got champagne all over the camera, but congratulations.
Well, that is fantastic news.
Now listen, what an amazing drive this weekend. It was grown up, it was quick. You must be very pleased with yourself.
We thought before the rally that now when I'm not first on the road, we definitely have a chance. But to get 1 and 2 in this rally and now take the championship lead again, it's absolutely fantastic.
And that last few kilometers of that stage was crazy.
I was so nervous. I mean, tires were completely destroyed and I came so slowly, but luckily it was the same for everybody else.
Amazing, Mikko. Really well done.
Thank you very much.
This win promotes Mikko back to the top of the leaderboard with a 3-point gap over Loeb. Latvala passes Atkinson for 3rd. And in the manufacturers, Ford extend their lead over Citroën to 9 points. And Scotsman Barry Clark's 10th picks up a point for Munchies. Now, the forests of Finland have no respect for the laws of gravity. It may be 6 weeks away, but our annual trip to the spiritual home of rallying is worth the wait. As Rally goes off on its summer holidays, an emphatic performance by Ford's young Finns, nailing Sebastian Loeb to third place in the podium. They've certainly got something to celebrate at tonight's end-of-term party. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you again next time, exclusively on Dave. Bye-bye.